here's one of the most fascinating things about Mo Bamba. Not his size, his wingspan, his length, his incredible upside. It's the fact that he's the highest draft pick out of New York City in more than 2 decades. Like when you think of New York City, like Mecca of basketball, and of course he went to prep school and private school in New Hampshire and Pennsylvania before going to the University of Texas. So you don't think of him as a New Yorker, but to grow up in New York, born in New York, grow up in New York, and then become a lottery pick and a top 5 pick, and the highest draft pick in nearly 2 decades. Really remarkable. Mo Bamba joins us in the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. Congratulations. What's the last 12 hours been like?
It's been awesome. There's no real way to explain how I feel because life has officially come back into full circle. You grew up in New York and, you watch the draft and you watch everything. And then, obviously I moved around and did things away from the city. But in the end, draft night in New York, it's just, can you believe it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so you woke up yesterday. Where did you think you were going to go play?
I had no clue because there were so many different speculations about, teams trading up and, teams that like meeting with the Knicks last second was a bit like overwhelming. And but I didn't really have a good feel for any team.
Okay, but you had to think like Knicks or Dallas, right? Like that was the long held rumor, Knicks or Dallas, wasn't it?
Knicks. I didn't know the Knicks was a rumor until I actually met with them.
And did they say they were taking you?
No, they didn't say anything. They said they didn't really give too much information. But I knew Orlando was always crazy about me, so I obviously looked at here as like a pretty spot that I could very much end up.
What is it actually like to get that call? To know that you are like what is that moment like?
I didn't find out till the pick, till there was like cameras that came over and I had a pretty good idea that they were maybe going to pick me. But it was, like I said, words can't really explain how I felt.
Mo Bamba joining us in the Doug Gottlieb Show, Fox Sports Radio, now a member of the Orlando Magic. Of course, everybody talks about your length, your upside. Do you ever grow tired of the, hey, dude, stick out your arms, let me see how big your wingspan is?
Nope. Nope, not at all. Because it's a blessing, honestly, to be able to have these God-given tools and these God-given strengths. I can't really complain.
It's interesting. I've seen some of your workouts, which you've posted with Drew Hanlon online, and a lot of it is perimeter work. And there's this kind of there's this discussion with NBA people. Do we put him inside, where he can finish and dunk on people, or do we let him go outside because you can shoot and you're continuing to improve as a perimeter player? What have the Orlando Magic said about how they want to use you?
Honestly, when you were just saying that, I was just thinking, why not both? Huh? But with Orlando, they've gotten guys like me before. They've gotten guys who can play inside out, and that's why I feel as if I can be very special here because the blueprint is there.
It's fascinating because who's the first basketball coach you can remember growing up in New York?
Greer Love was actually my first basketball coach.
Who?
Greer Love.
Okay, so Greer Love's your coach. And I will bet, I could be wrong, but I will bet most of your coaches growing up were like, hey, big guy, get inside, right? Get inside and we'll throw you the ball. And Now you're going to the NBA where everybody's like, dude, you got to have to get outside and shoot threes.
Well, it's the direction of the league. That's the way the direction of the league is kind of heading in, and you don't want to be behind on times. And this was something that I always had in my back pocket, but it was just a matter of reaching back there and getting it.
How did you just get the hiccups on me?
Yeah, I did.
Are you spicy food, drinking soda?
Yeah.
What caused, or you're just nervous about coming on the radio? Let's just be honest.
I was just nervous about coming on the radio.
Fair enough. Mo Bamba joining us on the Doug Gottlieb Show. There's this other thing about Orlando, right? Like it's the place where Hall of Fame big guys get started. Shaq, Dwight Howard, now Mo Bamba. Have you thought about that connection?
I have not, but it's no, I'm honestly joking. Obviously, the history of the organization with Shaq and Dwight, but what people don't really see is when you peel a layer back, those guys really had a unique personality, and that's something that I'm hoping to bring to the city.
Okay, so are you going to play like the next Shazam? Is that what you're planning on?
Not quite. I think I'm going to do some work on the floor before I start doing all of that.
Mohamed Bamba joining us on the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. There's been a ton of discussion about DeAndre Ayton. He's gone number 1 overall. And what I said was, like, look, I think he's great in the low post. He can shoot outside, but you're actually more fluid outside. And some believe you have a greater ceiling in the NBA. How competitive are you with Ayton specifically and with a couple of the other big guys as we go forward in the league?
Well, me and DeAndre have been playing against each other since we were in high school, and, he can even attest for it. Those have been some of the best games to sort of watch from just, like, how much we competed. Like, those were truly battles, I'm 4-0 against them, But they've been battles, and he really brings out the best in me, and I believe I really bring out the best in him.
Hey, well, listen, congratulations on being drafted. We'll let you get going. I know it's a crazy day, lots of interviews, lots of handshaking, but this is respect that's earned. Best of luck in Summer League, and thanks for joining us.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Mohamed Bamba joining us. Clearly nervous about being on the show with us. I mean, that's my big takeaway was he was nervous about being on the show with me.